What's going on, guys? So in this video we're going to do something a little bit different from what I'm usually doing. So I'm going to walk you through the things that I did to transform my body, the lessons I learned, the principles I learned, but more importantly I'm going to give them to you and show you how you can apply them into your own life to get similar results. I want you to have the body of your dreams. This isn't some motivational talk or quick fix cookie cutter bullshit though. I want you to know that this is a clear process of the basics and foundations that will get results, especially if you feel like you're stuck, you've fallen off, or you're just in general not where you want to be. Now if that sounds like something you can use, I want you to lock in, okay? Put your phone away, close out all your other tabs, go to a quiet place, do whatever you need to do to lock in. That's all I ask. This video is packed full of value, and I want you to make sure you can find the things that you can apply into your life to get the results, because this video may be the start of something new for you, and I don't want you to miss it.
All right, so without further ado, let's get into this. So I introduced to you what I call the catalyst method. So skinny or fat men or skinny fat men drop 10% or more of your body weight, ignite serious muscle growth, and lock it in for life using the catalyst method, or you don't pay. This is all done without gaining weight back, spending more than 4 to 6 hours a week in the gym, or giving up your favorite foods. And I'm about to show you how you can do this for yourself. So before we jump into it, a little bit about who I am and how the catalyst method was created. So in these two pictures, you see a before and after. The one on the left, I was 260 pounds, and 6 months later, and after I developed the catalyst method, that is me at 220 and a lot stronger than I've ever been. So, I mean, I'm happier, stronger, I look a lot better, and I'm 40 pounds lighter. So before we dive into the catalyst method, let's talk about who this is for. So if you are ready to drop 25 to 40 pounds of pure fat without ever stacking it back on, while building a muscular frame you'll keep for life so you can rip your shirt off with confidence, this is for you. If you're done feeling clueless every time you walk into the gym and you're sick of getting buried under those complicated, miserable fitness plans and just want a simple, battle-tested plan that's based on the fundamentals that will make your life better instead of worse, this is for you. If you've tried it all, I'm talking those cookie cutter programs, the crash diets, the bullshit fad stuff, and still don't have that shredded, muscular, aesthetic physique that you want and that you know you're capable of, keep watching, because this is for you. If you know deep down, that the best version of you is out there waiting and you're just one solid jumpstart away from becoming him, this is your moment. Now, let me tell you who the catalyst method is not for. Fad chasers. This is not what we're doing here. If you're too stubborn to accept that mastering the fundamentals with the right system is the only way to a lasting transformation, then this isn't for you. Keep chasing the shiny new fad diets if you want. You'll remain stuck. You might make temporary progress, but you're not going to have it for life. You're just going to have it a little bit, crash, burn, put it all back on and rebound. That's how those work, and that's not what we're doing here. And if you're chasing a quick fix, a magic pill, some overnight fantasy, you're wasting your time here. Again, those quick fixes do not yield lifelong results. Learning the fundamentals correctly and how to apply those into your life is how you have lifelong results. If committing 4 to 6 focused hours a week to forging the body that you claim you want feels like too much, save yourself the time. This method demands action, no excuses. Finally, deep down, if you have already given up on the idea of ever building a powerful, lean, disciplined body and believe that greatness and a happy body and a sound mind is reserved for other people, then the catalyst method isn't for you. This isn't for everybody, and that's fine. You can leave. But this is ready for men who are ready to burn the old, ignite the new, and claim the life that has been waiting for them. So here's the truth about getting an aesthetic body that you're proud of, that nobody's going to tell you, okay? Let's see. So the hard truth. I'm going to tell you this right now. You can absolutely get ripped without giving up your favorite foods or spending countless hours in the gym, all while keeping your results forever. When you do this correctly the first time, you only need to do it once. However, 99% of men fail to do so because they lack a thorough understanding of the basic principles of, one, eating the proper nutrition to turn your body into a fucking machine, two, efficiently and effectively training in the gym to get the most results in the least time, and three, they don't understand how to adopt the correct mindset that will allow these principles to coexist and add to their already existing life rather than changing their entire way of life to follow some quick fix cookie cutter bullshit program that never works and is a major unnecessary inconvenience in their life and the lives of their loved ones. I'm sure we can relate to that. We've all tried those diets. They do not work for long-term stuff. Like, avoid the fad diets. We learn the fundamentals. We do it right here. But know that if you're watching this, you are already heading in the right direction that will keep you from falling into the most common and easily avoidable traps when it does come to fitness and nutrition. But before we get into that, none of this is going to matter unless we talk about these few limiting beliefs, because these limiting beliefs, you need to protect yourself from these, because this method, it doesn't matter. No method, no fundamentals, none of this will matter if you use these limiting beliefs as excuses. So I have to sacrifice my social life. Not true. I'll never eat what I want again. Not true. I'm too busy. Not true. This method is very flexible and works with your schedule, not against it. I have to track my macros forever. Track your macros up front, and then when you have an idea and this becomes second nature, you can lean off a little bit. But once you have a goal and say, I might be getting a little heavy, or I want this different look, track them. It's not that hard, but you're not doing this stuff forever. I want you to understand this. Once you learn it, you can apply this however you want into your life. But point being, the Catalyst method will give you every resource possible to enhance your life and not affect your productivity so that you can become the ultimate man you're supposed to be without having to sacrifice your favorite foods, time with friends and family, or your lifestyle in general. And I mean, if you want to be that guy that everyone stares at in pool parties, then we're going to go over exactly how to navigate the issues we just mentioned. We're going to go over my journey over how I lost 40 pounds, became ripped, what catching eyes everywhere felt like, and the mental benefits of having a body you love. We're going to go over how to lose 10% of your body weight while packing on lean muscle in 180 days or less. We're going to go over how you can do that. And then we're going to show you how to do all this without giving up your favorite foods, without spending endless hours in the gym, without having to sacrifice quality time with loved ones in the name of gains, because that's not what we're after. We're trying to improve your life, not make it worse. So before we dive in, a little background as to how I got here. So for as long as I can remember, I've been an athlete. So I'll say I'm 6'8". I grew very fast and was 6'8" by the time I was in like 10th or 11th grade or something. So I grew fast. So I was very, very skinny growing up. And I was okay at sports because I was so much taller than everybody else. But, my body could perform as an athlete, but I was never proud of my body. So I was always trying to put on size. I lifted heavy once I got into middle and high school, and I was doing dirty bulking for a long time. So in my late teens and early 20s, I kind of swung the other way. I got fat, overweight, bloated, still carrying a body that was strong and could perform and run, but one that I definitely at that point hated seeing in the mirror. And, like most young men do, I started partying and drinking and smoking cigars and just all the bullshit. And as I spiraled with that, I kind of realized that was becoming a problem, but it wasn't helping, because to numb that stuff, I would just drink more. I would just smoke more cigars. I would eat to fill that void and then just temporarily tell myself everything was fine, but it wasn't. Like, I was still training hard. I was still lifting heavy, but I was totally neglecting like the principles of this stuff. I was just doing it to go through the motions to pad my own ego. But like deep down, I knew I was bullshitting myself. I was living in denial, like showing confidence and carrying that hard ass attitude to everyone on the outside while I was sucking my gut and like dying on the inside. I was living not aligned, and that's what'll mess you up. But I'll never forget the moment that was like a changing point, like everything kind of broke. So, little backstory here. I got back from a deployment and I went to a pool party and I took my shirt off. And, I'm coming back from deployment feeling like the man. I come back, take my shirt off, instant shame. This was what I looked like, this picture here. And, I was doing that fake hard ass thing, faking confidence. And so I couldn't just instantly openly show that I wasn't confident. So what did I do? I faked a smile. I faked confidence. I walked around like I was proud of myself as I sucked in my gut, hoping that people wouldn't notice that I was doing that. Lying to myself and everyone around me. I was not living in alignment with my actions, like two totally separate things. And that was the moment that I would say was the death of the old me. I was so embarrassed. And I made a decision that I would never live another day in a body that didn't reflect the man I knew I could be. So I took action to start changing it. But what followed wasn't pretty either. It was brutal. So, I woke up at 3 a.m. every day. I trained multiple times a day. I tracked every calorie like my life depended on it, refused cheat meals. I sacrificed sleep, social life, relationships, sanity, everything to win back my pride. And I got results. I'm not going to say I didn't. When I started learning the principles and doing this stuff correctly, I got results. But like in a few months after this, another hard truth came along that I eventually had to swallow. And it was that burning your life down in the sake of having, for the sake of having a six pack isn't winning. Like I missed out on so many important life events and important things with friends and family because I was too busy, on the grind and getting results. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's bullshit. That's not what we're after. I used chasing gains as a way to avoid what I was doing, like mentally. And it's messed up. Again, your habits should be building your life. It should not be the other way around. It should not be tearing you down. Your lifestyle should not be bending for the sake of getting a six pack. There are ways to do that stuff and live your current lifestyle without having to change too much. And that's what we're here to show you. Like I learned the real game through this. It's not just about suffering. It's about building a life where your physique, your disciplines, and your energy amplify every part of you. A life where these new systems build you up and make life better, not worse. And now, shit, I walk differently. I talk differently. I lead my business, my relationships, and my life in general with a level of confidence that most men will never touch because I know I did the work. And as I was deep down in my own transformation, though, something like unexpected started to happen. And this was where I really started to have some mental breakthroughs, and this really started to click for me. So at first it was small. Like people began asking me for help, and it was just questions. I was posting my stuff on Instagram, and people would just DM me and be like, hey, how do you stay on the grind, mentally? It was usually about mindset at first and how to stay disciplined, how to stop falling off when life got hard. And I was happy to tell them everything I knew, but I was happy to do it. And soon, it grew. It just kept going. And it just kept growing. Like people in my life started asking about training, nutrition, how to actually build a body they could be proud of without destroying their lives in the process. Like I didn't think that these other people were interested. And all these people just started hitting me up and asking me for help. And it was kind of inspiring to me. It kept me going on my own journey because I was like, look, this is influencing people. This is helping people. Like people are doing this now with me. And it became a big group thing. And so I started helping them tackle the same roadblocks that I fought through, that I learned through, that I conquered. And that's reaching and maintaining sobriety, dropping body fat and building muscle. And then 3, building an unbreakable mindset that is able to conquer and withstand anything life can throw at you. Like a friend of mine dropped over 70 pounds using the Catalyst method. And that was just from a couple pieces of advice. This person came to me asked me a few questions, and I just answered the questions, gave them some value. They checked back in with me a few months later, down 70 pounds. That brought me to tears when I realized how much simply answering a few questions did for this person. It means so much to me. Like, random guys that I work with started hitting the gym hard and documenting their own journeys, like I was on Instagram, and inspiring others in their circle, inspiring their families. Like, I was beginning to see just how powerful this method like really was. Even my family, who got to see my journey somewhat up close, started tracking their food, training consistently, getting stronger, and dropping weight. And that's when it hit me that it wasn't about me anymore. That by sharing my journey, by teaching the principles that actually work, like, I was saving lives. I got some of my friends away from using drugs, like heavy drugs and alcohol. Like, this was saving lives. I was helping people escape addiction, helping men and women rewrite their futures, and all without forcing them to sacrifice everything they love, like most people think they need to do, but it's not true. Like, again, these realizations would bring me to tears, and still sometimes do, when I realized how many people I would end up helping with this method. And it all started with the change that I made. And you can do the same for people in your life when you make a change like that and openly help others. It's a beautiful thing. But, here's the truth. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aligned. Like I was saying, when your thoughts are aligned with your actions, you become unstoppable. Alignment is what makes progress natural. It just naturally flows to you. It's not much of an effort when this is how you live. And that's why I'm obsessed with coaching men through the Catalyst method. I've lived out every extreme. I've been skinny. I've been fat. I've spiraled out of control with vices. And then I've grinded myself into the ground to fix it. I've burned out, totally falling off and reverting, only to come clawing my way back. Like, I've been through most of the problems you could be through on a fitness and nutrition journey. And that's why I know exactly what it takes to stop lying to yourself, to beat these roadblocks, to strip off the old weight of your body and mind and ignite a new force inside you. And again, it's not through these superficial ass cookie cutter starvation diets, the toxic all or nothing mentality. Anything all or nothing, I'm going to tell you right now, is bullshit. There's a spectrum to everything. There's not through fake transformations that'll crash and burn after 30 days. Like, this is the fundamentals. These are lifelong results. These are people's lives we are talking about. I don't just coach physiques. I coach permanent transformations in men's bodies, minds, and souls. I teach these men how to become the best possible version of themselves while living their life to the fullest. It's just full-blown transformation for men who are finally ready to win in their life. Like, the Catalyst method was born from this exact journey. It's the system that I personally developed, not in a lab, not in a textbook, but the real blood, sweat, setbacks, and success. I tested this and created the structure through my own setbacks and perfected this through the men and women that I helped transform their lives. This is never something you're going to find in a cookie cutter program, not something you're ever going to find in a recycled PDF that you can download from a fake ass fitness guru coach online. This is a real system based off of the real principles for real men, developed through real battles. And today I'm giving this to you for free because I know what's waiting for you on the other side of this, and it's not just a better body, but it is a better life all around. No questions asked. The Catalyst method is my gift to the men who are finally ready to light that fuse and just never look back. If you're ready to just take this and go, let's get into it, because I'm about to break this down for you step by step. And I'm going to give you the cold, hard truth and real tools that you'll actually need to get jacked. So I'm making this as a legitimate playbook to show you how to go from fat, skinny fat, just simply out of shape, to so ripped that people will actually gasp when you take your shirt off because you look so good, all in 180 days or less. So lock it in. Here's how it works. Truth of the matter is, this is simple, very simple. And think simple through this entire section. It's simple. I'm going to break it down. So let's do it. The Catalyst method is broken up into two essential phases. The foundation phase is the first one, and then the apex phase is the second one. and each is composed of 3 parts: training, nutrition, recovery. If you are confused, let me make it even more simple. The foundation phase, the first phase, is a 3 to 4 month leaning out phase where the rep ranges and volume will be higher and the food intake will be lower. This will reset metabolism, burn the fat off, prepare your muscles for the apex phase, okay? Then the apex phase is a 2 to 3 month lean bulk phase where the fat's already off and now the rep ranges and volume will be lower and the food is going to progressively get higher. Here's where we're going to break new PRs in the gym, pack on lean muscle. Like, that's the fun phase, okay? Later on, I'll show you how we adjust your workouts and diet through both the foundation phase and the apex phase, which together make the system that powers the Catalyst method. But before I built the Catalyst method, every part of my training, nutrition, and lifestyle was out of sync, like we talked about, just like it is for most men. This stuff's simple, but it's not talked about. And the methods I used were the same ones that got passed around online, and they failed me. And it's very mentally painful to put in lots of effort all to get no results. Trust me, I've been there. I've done it. I've spun my wheels. It'll hurt mentally, like spinning your wheels like that, putting all this effort in to get nowhere. So I stripped it all down, rebuilt all this shit from the ground up, and created a system that I could actually live by. And that's how the Catalyst method was born. And here's how I structured every piece to finally deliver real, lasting results. So let's do it. First pillar. Let's get into it. Training. So this is how I was training before I created the Catalyst method. And honestly, most guys in the gym are still doing, one or all of these. So I was inconsistent, showing up to the gym when I felt like it, skipping days without a real plan, because I'm thinking, in the moment, what's one day going to do? My intensity fluctuated. Some days I trained really hard, and other days I just coasted, just chasing a pump, and just to check the box and say I went to the gym. But it's not what we do anymore. I only did the exercises I felt motivated to do, not the ones that I actually needed. I wasn't a fan of squatting, so I just wouldn't squat. I would just go do other things. But we fixed that. Like, we don't do that here. My form was all over the place, which led to a lot of minor injuries and constant setbacks. Thank God, no major injuries. A lot of minor ones, but I still had some recovery time, and thankfully I'm pretty pain-free now from a lot of that. But lesson learned, which is why we're going to talk about that today. But bottom line, there was no structure, no progression, no system. And most men who enter the gym, again, are a walking example of one or all of these problems. So if you want to build a dominant, head-turning physique, you need a clear blueprint, not random effort. Training needs to be dialed, structured, progressive, intentional. So what changed as I created the Catalyst method? 3 things for this training pillar: effort, mechanics, structure. Let's start with effort. I'm going to say this as plainly as I can. Your body does not change unless it's given a reason to. It doesn't care that you showed up and checked the box of, oh, I went to the gym. It responds to one thing: demand. And if you are not sending a loud, clear message to your body that says, hey, this is not enough anymore, you need to adapt and grow, then it's not going to happen. Demand comes from effort. And this is not effort, again, that's based on vibes or feelings, but this is measured, aggressive, focused effort. So what does effort look like? It looks like this. You pick up a weight that makes you fight for those last few reps. Like right there. We're fighting for those last few reps. You keep your rest short enough to stay in it, but long enough to perform, okay? This isn't a circuit workout, but we're not power lifters that sit here and wait for like 10 minutes, to go do their lifts. You push past the part where most people stop, and you stay mentally locked in from the first to the last rep. Mind-muscle connection. So here's the truth. I mean, you can see when somebody trains with effort. You can see it in their face, in their eyes, how they look. Like, they're going to be smashing out the last few reps, and you're going to see it versus the dudes that'll just go and get somewhat of a pump and just drop the weight. But their muscles have shape, density. It's a different kind of presence. But guys who train soft, they will train for years and still look the same because they're not giving the body the stimulus it needs. But inside the Catalyst method, I mean, effort's a non-negotiable because we're not in the gym for like all this time a week. It's 4 to 6 hours. So it needs to be focused and aggressive. And we don't base it on mood. We don't train to get tired. We train to force this stimulus that our bodies need. Every set has a purpose. Every session is building something. We train like we mean it, because if we don't, I mean, what's the point of even going to the gym at that point? Like, if you're not going to get the stimulus that's going to force your body to grow, why even spend the time going to the gym? You're wasting your time. But I mean, this is what separates the guys who talk about change to the ones who actually live in a body they're proud of, that force that stimulus. But I think you guys get the point. We'll go to the next pillar here, which is mechanics. So, all right. A lot of dudes think they know what good form feels like, but they don't. It's different. I didn't either for a long time. I was stuck in this weird area. I thought if I finished the set with like some burn and a pump, that was the stimulus, but it's not. Over time, I realized something. If your mechanics are not dialed in, you are literally either training the wrong muscles or just bound to get injured. And you're not building anything at that point. You're just surviving sets in the name of going to the gym and checking that box off, like I was saying. So let's start with the basics. Grip and contact. Every movement starts either from your hands or your feet. And if you're not locked in from the first point of contact, the rest of the lift is sloppy. So first and foremost, I mean, let's totally eliminate that variable to ensure we always have a solid foundation for every movement. So, I mean, grab a dumbbell, a machine-handled bar, whatever you're using, and squeeze the shit out of it. Like, not hold it, not rest it in your fingers, like squeeze it. Don't let that thing move around. It needs to be solidly and firmly in your hand. That grip should set the tone for the entire movement, your tension, your control, your output, etc. And for lower body, it's the same thing. If you're pressing, drive the floor away like you're trying to leave earth. Ensure your footing is stable and push through your heels. And then for stuff like leg curls and extensions, dig in with your knees and ankles and kind of lock your body in there so you're not squirming and moving. But point being, every lift has a point of contact, and ensuring you always have a strong and stable point of contact is the first step to consistent, clean mechanics every single time. So, I mean, muscles don't grow when the weight moves. It grows when you control the movement to work the correct muscle. So, second, we have to talk about form. You have to keep it. Like, it's easy to have good form when the set starts. We all know that. But once it gets uncomfortable in those last reps that matter the most guys will fall apart. You know, if you're curling, you're going to start swinging. Like you see the dudes just slinging weight like that, and they're going to get injured. They're not working their biceps as much as they could be. They're rushing, compensating, not controlling the negative. You know, if someone's bench pressing, they'll slam the weight up, but then when it's coming back down, they won't control it, it's half the lift. Like, they're just going to drop it and just go and back and forth and shake the bar, basically. It's not what we need to do. It's anything to just get it over with, right? Like, no. But that's, again, exactly when it starts to count. That's the very moment you either grow or stay the same. It's the last few reps that matter the most. So, I mean, ego lifting on those last few tough reps will do you no good. So stay locked in. I mean, form is not something you try to keep. It's something you need to force your body to hold on to. And then we'll get into this last part here. Full range of motion. So not half repping to feed your ego. I'm talking real control. The slow stretch at the bottom with tension on your muscles and full contraction at the top. At the top, squeeze that target muscle like you're flexing it really hard. That's where the growth happens. This is what people mean when they walk around and talk about that mind-muscle connection. Like, it's not spiritual. It's not some woo-woo, like, oh, hippy-dippy stuff, you know. It's just intent behind every rep. The more you can focus your mind on that squeeze, the deeper you can squeeze, the more progress you're going to make. And same, you need to control the negative. And once, say we're doing curls, you want to get that arm extended, have tension on your bicep, have tension on that muscle while it's in that full range of motion, and pause there for a second so we're not bouncing, bring it back. That's how it goes. Nice and controlled, but push it hard. And yeah, I mean, some reps are going to get ugly at the end, and that's fine. Like, we are not robots, but there is a huge difference between finishing strong and just flopping around to say you finished. So, bottom line, summary of this, like, the cleaner your mechanics, the faster your progress. End of story. When you train with control, you'll feel the difference and everything else starts to click. So, let's get into the last pillar, structure. So, you're probably asking the question, how many days a week should I train? What exercises should I do? How many exercises should I do? How, should I do cardio? Whatever. So I'll say most guys don't fail because they don't train enough. Like, this is, again, I'm going to say this in the most simple way I can. They fail because they have no structure behind the hours they are already putting in. It's not about how long you're in the gym. I've proven that by only being there 4 to 6 hours a week. But it's about what you do in the gym when you're there. You can train 5 to 6 days a week if you want. I'm going to make that clear. If you want, you can do that. You can run a push-pull leg split twice a week, do long cardio sessions, and live in the gym if that fits your lifestyle. I mean, some guys enjoy that. And if that's you and you have all 3 pillars of training locked in, that's fine. Do what fits your lifestyle. Do what you enjoy. It's your life. But I did that split for a long time and it got results. But again, using that kind of system is how I sacrificed my social life and literally spent 3 to 4 times the amount of time I currently spend in the gym. So if you're asking me what's necessary to build a muscular, lean, dominant physique, it's not that. So again, the reality, you only need 4 to 6 hours a week total, but this is super important. You will only need the 4 to 6 hours a week only if you lock in all these 3 pillars without fail every time. Effort, mechanics, structure. You cannot go in there in those 4 to 6 hours and just half-ass stuff. This is focused intention with the workouts. This is aggression. We're doing this correctly because we're only there for 4 to 6 hours a week. Doing this correctly in a small amount of time is what will give you the time back as well as the results for the rest of your week. So that means training with intensity and purpose, executing clean form, and following a split that actually hits everything with intent. So here's how I currently do it and how the Catalyst method is kind of structured, but again, we can change things as we go, and I'll explain that in a second. So day 1 looks like chest, quads, and abs. Day 2, back and traps. Day 3, legs and calves. Day 4, shoulders, arms, abs. It's a 2 on, 1 off repeat pattern. So I do days 1 and 2 on Monday and Tuesday. I take a rest Wednesday. Thursday, Friday is legs and shoulders. And then Saturday, Sunday is kind of off. So big muscle groups, 3 focused exercises, small muscle groups, 2 solid movements. That's all you need. Again, if you're focused, your form is right, you're pushing hard, that's all you need. You can do more to get a little bit more stimulus, but if you want the change that you're looking for, that is all you need. Big muscle groups, 3 exercises. Smaller ones, 2 solid movements. That's it. And here's how we can modify it. So this is the coolest part, in my opinion. If you feel like you're lacking in a specific area, this blueprint can be modified to train that area more than once a week without spending a lot more time in the gym. Like, I am all legs, and I'm 6'8". I'm tall, and it's mostly in my legs. I have really long femurs. So I'm trying to get tree trunks for fucking legs. So the way mine's structured here, I hit quads twice, legs and quads. Well, legs as a whole and then quads specifically. But that's structured for me so that I get a sufficient amount of rest. There's a couple days in between that. There's 2-3 days usually, depending on how I'm doing it. Usually 3 or more. And that's the thing. I'm already in the gym doing chest, so I'm not spending an excessive amount of time hitting them. Like, you can give them more stimulus weekly than other more developed areas. So if your chest is lacking, hit that more. Whatever you feel like the areas are that are really lacking, you can put more attention into that and still not need to sacrifice time in the gym. And so in the foundation phase, reps are higher, weight is lighter, volume's up. Again, this is it's called the foundation phase, but we are building a foundation for your body and cleaning up your form so that when we move into the apex phase, you're much less prone to injury. Your body is already used to working out, and your muscles you'll kind of be chomping at the bit to go break new PRs because you'll be lifting and ready to just go smash these new ones. And then in the apex phase, again, reps drop, weight climbs, every set is surgical. We're chasing size and strength with precision. So you may be asking, what about cardio? Yes, you're going to do it, okay? This isn't something, I'm not saying don't do it. We're doing it. Cardio is needed. But no hour-long, runs on the treadmill. You can do just a few 10-minute walks a day. It's all you need, especially after meals. And you may be asking why. So if you do it after meals, it's going to help digestion, burns fat passively, and it keeps you moving. You're going to feel better and look better without having to overthink it and go struggle on the treadmill all day. That alone for me was a game changer. There's no midday lull because my digestion for lunch usually was a lot better. There's no long cardio sessions. You get better digestion, all the stuff. Just final takeaway, bottom line for training here, you don't need to live in a gym. You don't need 2-a-days or some insane 7-day bro split. You just need structure. That's it. Real structure built around your life, built around what actually gets results. 4 to 6 hours is plenty of time. It's more than enough. But only if you're going to train with locked in effort, clean mechanics, and a real plan. This is how the Catalyst method works. No fluff. It's not wasted time. This is a clear, efficient system that will deliver results and fits to your life. Because we're not just building muscle. Again, we are building men who can actually enjoy life in the body that they earned. So, nutrition. Let's get to it. This is the second one. So, most guys either pretend like they don't care what they eat, or they'll bounce between diet trends every time a new one becomes popular. So they'll do fasting until they crash by eating one meal a day. They'll do no carbs for a few days until they look flat, have no energy. They're craving carbs, and then they binge. They'll do carnivore for a week and then go on to keto, and then they'll try Ozempic, and it's chaos. There's too many variables. It'll never stick, okay? Sure, you might drop a few pounds here and there, but it's always going to come back because extreme fad diets are not sustainable for 99% of people's lifestyles, as well as just being wrong physiologically. People will do keto, for example, and then be surprised when they drop an entire, there's 3 macros. They'll be surprised when they drop one of the 3 macros and be like, wow, I lost weight. It's either water or you just cut out a third of your calories. No shit, you're going to lose a little bit of weight, but you need all the macros, okay? These things are too intense and just clear cookie cutter. They don't work because people are different, but the principles should remain the same. So people will try a few days of this, a few days of that, don't really have a plan or consistency. They don't understand macros. They don't have set meals, and they have zero control over timing. I know that path. I've lived it, and it's the reason why I kept gaining and losing the same 10 to 15 to 20 pounds. So when I built the Catalyst method, I built a nutrition system that's simple, sustainable, flexible, and bulletproof. This is one that actually fits, again, to your lifestyle and gets lasting results. So here's how we fix it. Here's the 3 core pieces to your nutrition inside the Catalyst method: macros, meal selection, meal timing. You can see what those are here. So let's get into number 1, macros. So, all right. We don't obsess over calories, contrary to what a lot of you guys might think. we focus on protein, carbs, and fats, which are the things that actually tell your body how to respond. Protein to build and preserve muscle, it's a necessity. Carbs to fuel the work, it's a necessity. Fats to stabilize hormones and support energy, also a necessity. We're not doing crazy things where we cut certain macros out totally. You need macros, but having the correct portion of each is what's going to do the magic. So when I was getting my own nutrition in check, I only counted calories at first, but then realized that macros were the key through a lot of trial and error and studying on what I was doing wrong, and then I figured it out. And so I locked my macros in and hit them daily. And that's when real changes started to occur without me feeling tired and hungry and like just me all the time, you know? And everybody's baseline is different, but here's an example of my own foundation phase. So 280 grams of protein, 200 grams of carbs, 66 grams of fats. Again, I was 6'8", 260 pounds. Those numbers are going to be significantly high for a lot of you, but that's what I started with. So dialing in your macros kind of just gives you clarity on where to go. You know, there's no guessing, there's no hoping, there's just results now. Now it's trackable data that is actionable for you to be able to go back and say, I think I need a little bit more of a deficit. Drop your carbs a little bit. You know, there's things that we can do now instead of just guessing because there's not nearly as many variables. You know what you're doing, you're tracking it. And I will say that macros are the hardest up front, but once you understand your baseline and kind of where you're at, you really only ever need small tweaks and you'll make huge results. So if you can thug it out for a little bit, you'll get it. It'll become second nature and you'll know how your body responds to certain things. Promise. So we will go into number 2, meal selection. No more random meals or late night snacking like a raccoon. So each meal has 4 parts: a protein, a clean carb, a healthy fat, and a vegetable. Simple, whole, digestible. That's the rule. All right. So here's what this actually looks like and kind of a few examples of ones that I've used in my own diet that I've found helpful. So chicken breast, 93.7 ground beef, tilapia, salmon, eggs, egg whites, protein powder, non-fat Greek yogurt, etc. I also like chicken thighs depending on what I'm doing, if I'm trying to get a little bit more fats, but it just depends. You know, chicken breast is leaner. It'll do the job a little bit better, a little bit more macro friendly. But for the carbs, we got rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, fruit, oats, cream of rice, and honey. And then fats, nuts, avocados, whole eggs, and then so veggies. I ate a lot of peppers, onions, peas, carrots, lettuce, green beans, etc. Doesn't matter too much with those, but get a healthy mix. And another thing. So we don't meal prep with like flavorless tilapia and sadness. Okay. We do not eat to just say, oh, we're eating the macros. There are a lot of ways to season your food to taste amazing, as well as, sauces that are not only macro friendly, but delicious. Like you guys can literally get this stuff at Walmart. There's like the G. Hughes sugar-free sauces. There's like teriyaki, sweet and sour, Polynesian, like a sugar-free barbecue, like that plus seasonings. You can do a lot with that. Do not ever think that your food has to taste like shit just because you're cutting or you're meal prepping. But not only that, but using convenient things like an air fryer or a rice cooker or baking large amounts of chicken breast together to save you time when you're meal prepping is awesome. And it's made prepping for me a lot less hassle. And I mean, yeah, we build meals that fuel performance, that taste good, that keep you full without killing your social life or sanity. End of story. We're trying to make this transition as smooth and as frictionless as possible. So let's talk about meal timing. So we'll get to that in a second. but meal timing. Basically, most guys eat at random, just kind of when they feel hungry. They'll skip breakfast, snack through the day, and then binge at night and kind of wonder why their body never changes. But inside the Catalyst method, again, clean, simple, actionable, 4 to 5 meals a day. That's a lot more than most people are used to. Trust me, we'll talk about it. Spaced anywhere from 2 to 4 hours apart. First meal right after waking up. Last meal a little bit before bed. Give it some time to digest before you go to bed, though. But done. This keeps energy stable, hunger minimized, and metabolism humming. So the reason we are doing 4 to 5 meals a day, ideally, you can still hit your numbers in 3 if that works for you. Great. But for me, as I digest the food and my blood sugar kind of lowers, and then I just pound a big heavy meal, it kind of makes for big spikes, and my energy is not as consistent through the day. And that's the same with a lot of other people. So a lot of bodybuilders will do, 4 to 5, or, for those really big dudes, more in a day. But for me, I just need 4 to 5. And I found that is kind of like the happy medium for me that will keep that blood sugar good, keep energy fairly regulated, especially when you pair it with going on those walks. But bottom line, your body will adjust. Consistency is king. Whatever works for you, do it. So, yeah, all right, we're good there. You get the point. Contrary to the fad diets you followed, there are most certainly cheat meals. I want to be very clear about this. And I don't even like to call them cheat meals. I should have reworded that. These are strategic. These are not random, okay? We're not doing intuitive eating. These are planned. We schedule 2 cheat meals per week in so that you can eat something off plan without guilt. And that way it keeps things mentally calm and grounded, gives you something to look forward to, and it kind of makes the rest of the week easier to stick to because you can rest easy without having diet fatigue, knowing that you can eat something good. Like, if you have a meal with your friends or family, like, somewhat often it's like, some junk food or whatever, that's okay. Like, again, we're not taking from your social life, and these things will not throw you off as long as you remain locked in when it's time to lock in. And so I didn't do this at first, and I burned out so many times, and like, it wouldn't throw my physical results off much, but I was needlessly destroying myself over this. Like, it's one meal. As long as you're locked in, or I guess 2 meals, but as long as you're locked in, it doesn't really throw you off. But it's because people call it a cheat meal. You're ruining your relationship with food. You're treating it like something way bigger than it should be. It's a tool. This is something to get what you want. You're not cheating on food. Like, do it right and hit the few cheat meals. It's not that deep, I promise. And when I realized I could get results and still have these 2 meals that were literally whatever I want, something clicked and I just caught a groove, and I just rolled for like months with no concerns, because not only did this keep me from spiraling, it actually helped me train harder, stay more consistent, and still lose body fat every week, because I was much happier, much more calm, like, about tracking macros. It was awesome. Bonus, cardio meets nutrition. One of the simplest things I teach, again, going for this 10-minute walk after you eat. Digestion helps keep blood sugar stable, burns fat passively. Do that 3 to 4 times a day, and your body is going to start changing fast and without needing an hour of cardio. So you can do the cardio if you want, but 99% of us are going to choose not to. So, yeah. But by implementing the Catalyst method, I cut out all the unnecessary bullshit, and we're teaching lifelong principles. So by implementing this, you'll know what to eat, when to eat it, and why it's working. Simple. Once that's locked in, results become automatic and lifelong, because we're not guessing anymore. No more yo-yoing, no more rebounding. Just a body you built and you get to keep. All right, let's hit recovery. So, third pillar. Hugely overlooked. I looked this up. I overlooked this for a long time. You can be eating clean, training hard, taking your rest days, but if your quality of sleep is garbage, you still might, you'll still make some progress, but you are leaving a huge amount of gains on the table. End of story. You can train your ass off and still hold on to fat, count macros, still feel soft. You'll push hard in the gym, still feel flat and exhausted and low energy. And ask me how I know this, because I did this for years. I like years. And there was a point in time in my own journey that I was doing everything right on paper, but my progress slowed a lot. Like I was tired, inflamed, bloated, digestion was bad, holding on to like this last bit of stubborn fat, even though my diet was on point and my workouts were dialed. And the missing piece, recovery, but specifically sleep. So recovery, I mean, it starts and ends with sleep. It's the biggest thing. Like I'm talking about quality sleep, like the kind that actually repairs your body. There's a real recovery protocol that nobody talks about enough. And when I started improving my sleep habits, everything else just started clicking faster. Everything, it just helped funnel more progress into every other area. So, I mean, my strength skyrocketed. My mood and attitude towards fitness and nutrition improved because I was happier. I wasn't as pissed off. I was rested better. My cortisol was lower. Results were coming easier. Digestion got better. A lot of my cravings disappeared too, weirdly enough. But, I looked into that and it's sure as shit a sleep thing. And my body started dropping fat like crazy without me doing anything different in the gym or the kitchen. It was just like I put my results on autopilot. But so here's what I did to kind of get the sleep under control. I shut down the screens and eliminated blue light about an hour before I would sleep. I got blue light glasses too, which would kind of help me if I still had to do some work, somewhere. I would dim the screen and use blue light glasses, like put that night filter on the screen and use blue light glasses to kind of at least find that happy medium. But I dropped my room temperature to 67 degrees. I got blackout curtains, which are sick, by the way, and a white noise machine. That was a big one. I wake up easily to like sounds in my environment, and that would kind of drown all that out. So it was just a constant white noise sound. It helped me sleep, and honestly, it's a pretty underrated thing. I know not a lot of people like sleeping with noise, but I'm hooked, I gotta say. So next, I stopped scrolling and started winding down intentionally with low light, some reading, low warm light too, I'll say. I like to have candles, and you can see that like galaxy projector thing. And I have like a sunrise lamp that I'll put on, and just very low warm light, like just enough for me to walk around and be able to see. And then I'll do some reading and maybe some reflection. It's usually centered around gratitude. I kind of just depends what I'm in the mood for, but just something to kind of ground you, stop my mind from thinking about work and life, and just something to kind of ground myself. And I would force myself to stop working for a chunk of time before bed. When I was not going to bed thinking about work or what needs done, my mind could shut off easier. I found that I was getting more restful sleep and waking up less through the night because I was rested and not concerned about what do I need to do, work, doing the grind. Like that's really it. It's nothing fancy. It's basic, no-brainer things that most people, including myself previously, neglect. But the difference was insane. Like sleep controls everything: hormones, recovery, fat burning, strength, mood, hunger, discipline, mindset. It's not optimal. Like this is a cornerstone. It will literally determine how fast and how well you recover, which, okay, if you give your body the stimulus, we need our body to grow back and recover the best we can. That's what's going to grow. The muscles, like we work out hard and we recover harder. That's it. End of story. It's something I've adopted because that's literally where we grow, is in the recovery phase. We don't grow when we're tearing our muscles apart and giving our body that stimulus. We grow in the recovery phase. So do it right. Do this with care. So inside the Catalyst method, I hold every guy to this standard. We don't guess if you're recovering. We track it, adjust it, and build it into your process. Like when guys come into the program sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night, we fix that immediately, because if you're not sleeping, you're not progressing nearly as much as you could be. We aim for 7 to 9 quality hours consistently. And again, everybody needs a different amount of sleep. And so that's okay. And that's why we track how much you sleep, how you feel, how the gains are coming on, how you're sleeping, so that we can lock in and find the drop offs and find exactly what's ideal for you and your body. That alone makes everything else easier. Dieting, training, energy, fat loss, mood, all of it. We've been over this. But yeah, all right. So I think we hit that pretty well. We went over all that. So let's see. How do we implement the catalyst method? Let's get into this. So we'll go over the foundation phase here in a second. So again, the foundation phase and the apex phase together create the catalyst method. So this is where your training and nutrition evolve and your recovery system locks in. The goal is simple. Strip away the unnecessary fat, rebuild your physique into something full, lean, powerful. Simple. This method is not about just aesthetics. It's about feeling grounded, energized, confident, proud of you, and capable again. And I don't leave you to figure this out alone. So how do we put the rebound method into play? Let's get into how this thing works. Again, broken down in 2 phases, each with a specific purpose. Foundation phase, we're cutting off that extra fat, resetting metabolism, priming your muscles for growth, and building discipline and getting ourselves into the swing of finding what habits work best for you. And then we will go into the apex phase here in a second. But yeah, so we're getting all the fat off, water, excuses, bad habits, getting into the swing of this. We use high volume, higher rep training to drive performance and prime muscles. Again, this should not be where you're breaking all these new PRs. You should be progressing while you're doing your higher volume ones, but you're not going to be hitting your, 1 rep maxes or your 3 rep maxes. Like, we're not shooting for strength here. We're shooting for hypertrophy training, high volume. This isn't just for fat loss. This is to build the work capacity and the movement precision that's going to be required when you step into the apex phase. So these principles must be learned up front while doing the higher rep ranges in order to proactively prevent injury when doing lower rep ranges and that are heavier, because we don't want you to get hurt, because if you're hurt, you're not making gains. So the goal is longevity here, people. So training setup, same thing. 4-day split, it's the same thing. Day 1, chest, quads, abs. Day 2, back traps. Day 3, legs, calves, abs. Day 4, shoulders and arms. 2 on, 1 day off, split. Big muscles, 3 to 4 exercises. Smaller muscles, 2 to 3. Reps, 12 to 25 per set. Focus, pushing volume with clean form at maximum tension. Again, not about PRs. This is about building fatigue resistance, locking in your technique, and conditioning your body for what's to come in the apex phase. So nutrition setup, we'll start by locking in protein, carbs, and fats, not calories. You'll track macros daily and build your meals from whole digestible foods. And in my own foundation, I started with something like 60 grams of fat, 220 grams of carbs, 220 grams of carbs, 280 grams of protein. And once I found what worked for me, again, it's minor adjustments. And yeah, so once your weight stabilizes and kind of adjusts to macros, well, you're already eating macros. Once it adjusts to the numbers that would be about right for your height and weight and where you're at right now, and your digestion's in a good spot, that's when we make the minor weekly adjustments to kind of really strip the fat off without hurting your energy or metabolism. Like, the hardest part though is getting to that point. When you're there, it's just small changes and we're cruising. But the hardest point is up front. But point being, the goal for the foundation phase is to slowly deplete the body while maintaining performance in the gym, creating a hypersensitive sponge-like state that your body can make, that will allow your body to make a massive rebound from when we enter the apex phase. So by the end of this phase, you're going to be leaner than you've been in years, but still not drained and feeling decent, which is probably not something you would expect, because your metabolism is going to be firing. Your training is going to feel automatic. You're in the groove. And most importantly, you've put your body, mind, and habits in the perfect, ideal situation to grow as we step into the apex phase. So, apex phase. let's get it. Once we've peeled the excess fat off and your body is primed and your physique is ready to explode, this is when we flip the switch, okay? You're going to be lean, but you might be a little bit flatter, a little bit smaller than you think you are, because a lot of people don't have the physique they think they do. But now it's time to grow because you primed your body, you did the work. So heavier weight, lower reps, slightly more food, more power. This phase is all about adding muscle without adding unnecessary fat back. Once that fat is off, the goal is to keep the vast majority of that fat gone. Some will happen, but then we just cut it back off. But we're not putting excess, we're not putting a ton of fat on, okay? And I mean, this phase is all about adding muscle without adding the unnecessary fat. Think about lean bulking with intention. We're not dirty bulking. That is the most lazy shit ever. We're not trying to get big and then cut later. Like, the fat's gone and there is zero reason to put most of that back on. Like, it's totally unnecessary. You can bulk and still be lean. So you don't need much anabolic stimulus to grow muscle. You just need a little bit. And when you only have a little bit, you're not going to put the fat on, but you'll put the muscle on. So same 4-day split, but the structure changes. 3 exercises for the big muscles, 2 for the smaller ones. 6 to 10 reps per set. This is what changes the most. And then 2 to 3 sets max. Goal, progressive overload, total control, maximum tension, and hitting new PRs while maintaining these. Progressive overload meaning the lifts progressively get heavier. You know, as you get warmed up, as you get in the groove, you're pushing it, trying to see how heavy you can get while maintaining total control, tension, good form so you don't get hurt. This is not chasing a pump anymore. Now you're chasing performance. This is loading heavier weights each week inside of these tight rep ranges. So here's what the nutrition will look like. So now that your body's primed, we slowly feed the growth. The macros will get bumped up to fuel recovery and muscle building. We don't just start by slamming you with extra food. Again, that's how we do a dirty bulk, and you'll get fat like that. We slowly add it up. You don't need a crazy 2,000 calorie surplus. Again, even a slight surplus is enough to fuel your body and create that anabolic stimulus when you pair it with heavy weight training. So example progression, say you're starting at 175 grams of protein, 150 carbs, 50 grams of fat. Say that's what you're at for the bottom of the cut. It's going to be different for everybody, but you'll slowly add that stuff up. There's different phases. And as you can see, they slowly go up. And then eventually it's mostly carbs that will keep upping. But yes, you can get carbs up to 450 grams strategically. Carbs will be the ones we change the most, but we work up to that again. And because your metabolism is so revved up from the foundation phase, you'll absorb food like a machine and use it to get stronger and hit more PRs and not store it as fat. Like, this is how we grow into that new look. This is how you step into that more full, lean, muscular frame that you all want. We all want that. So recovery, the overlooked superpower, we talked about it. It's baked into both phases, super important. The biggest needle mover is sleep. You're likely not overtraining, you're under recovering. We talked about that. You could be lifting, but if your recovery ain't right, you're leaving gains on the table. So I've seen guys fix their sleep and just suddenly drop fat without changing their food or workouts. It is that powerful. This one change, when you pair speeding up recovery, metabolism, mood, hormones, all these things, they complement each other. So get a legit 7 to 9 hours a night and you'll recover faster, lose fat easier, show up sharper every time. That easy. Like, these fads are so unnecessary, but understanding the most basic few principles and applying them in the most lifestyle friendly and efficient way possible is the key to longevity and results in a way that's not going to inconvenience you very much. So, real results. The Catalyst Method has helped me, along with people of all backgrounds, transform their bodies from losing 70 plus pounds to building an impressive physique. And these are not just physical changes, but total life transformations. I mean, this stuff hits hard, guys. So beyond the physical, we talked about this. When your sleep's right, when your food's right, when your body is becoming what you want it to be, and you're hitting new PRs in the gym, mental clarity, your body's not filled with toxins, you're sober, you have improved focus, decision making, like cognitive function, energy boost. When everything's right, you don't need stimulants and you don't need all this stuff, and you'll have consistent energy through the day without crashes. Confidence. Walk, talk, and lead with a level of confidence that most men are never going to touch, because you have results that most men are never going to touch. You earned it. You learned the stuff. Like, that's a powerful thing to have in your head when hard times hit, is you have your own back because you thugged this out. Better relationships, improved connections through enhanced self-esteem and presence. Guys, when you create a better version of yourself, anybody you become friends or partners with, or anybody in your family, you can show up as a higher version of yourself. You now have more to offer to your loved ones because you created more. So anybody that tells you that focusing on yourself and personal development is selfish is wrong, because we need to fill our cup before we can pour into others. End of story. So now that you know exactly what the Catalyst method, how it works, I have an offer for you. So if you're a skinny or a fat guy, or a skinny fat guy, if you're overweight, too small, and you want to pack on lean muscle, you're sick of not having the physique you want, and you are ready to look great with your shirt off, make the most physical progress you ever had, and apply a system to bring you lifelong results, live your life with a level of confidence that most men never get, and you want to lose 10% of your body weight, pack on lean muscle, learn how to keep it forever in 180 days or less, this is it. I mean, I will personally coach you through the Catalyst method and walk you through the exact process I use to help men completely change how they look, feel, and carry themselves without wasting months doing it the wrong way or spinning their wheels on these cookie cutter advice or fad diets that don't work. It's not just about getting lean. This is about locking in a system that becomes second nature, so that when you have the results, you never backslide. And this is my promise. I am so confident in my system that here's my promise to you. If you follow the Catalyst method exactly when you choose to work with me, and you don't lose 10% of your body weight in 180 days, if we don't hit those goals and you follow this exactly, I, Carson Berkheimer, will personally coach you for free until you do get that result. So if you want to experience the same kind of transformation that I was able to have for myself and that I was able to help others through using the Catalyst method, and you're ready to actually commit to becoming the man you know you're supposed to be, then tap this link and book your call. Because on the call, I'll walk you through exactly how the Catalyst method works and how we would tailor it specifically to your lifestyle, goals, your mindset, etc. And if it's a good fit, we'll talk about the next steps and see how we can work together. But if it's not, no pressure. I will still make sure you walk away with clarity and a decision to move forward. So I look forward to connecting soon. I hope you guys got a lot of value from this. I love you guys. Go make some changes.